What a fantastic performance by the under-21s on Tuesday night to reach the National League Cup final, beating Tamworth 3-1 in the process. And of course, the man of the match, well, not man of the match, the hero of the match. They were all heroes given how well they played. But the man who stood out, of course, is Josh Ajala, who got a brace in that game. Now, news from sources within West Ham United today state that our National League Cup hero has been offered a new contract. In fact, he was offered a new contract last week and he's agreed to that on a verbal basis. But as we all know, no contract is worth its weight in gold until that contract is actually signed. But the news coming out seems to suggest that West Ham have moved to allay any fears that we might lose yet another talented young prospect to another club. I've been told that it is hoped that Ajala signs this contract within the next 72 hours. Now, Josh Ajala, he only arrived at West Ham just under 3 years ago. He spent his entire schoolboy career at Chelsea. But despite scoring on a regular basis, he chose to leave Chelsea as he considered his prospects of making senior team football more difficult given the way Chelsea's transfer policy is. They seem to buy players at such a rapid rate. The chances of progressing from academy to senior team football seem to be quite slim in West London. Seems to be a thing across all Premier League teams, not just Chelsea. It seems no matter how good you might be at academy level, it doesn't automatically guarantee that you will become a regular first team player in a Premier League club. Now, at 16 years of age, an academy player can choose their own development path. And Ajala considered it better to leave Chelsea to further develop his career than to stay. West Ham wasted no time in signing the prolific young forward, and within months of coming to East London, he was offered his first professional contract, which he signed on his 17th birthday in November 2023. But what this seems to demonstrate is that Ajala is a man in a hurry. If he believes that his path to senior team football is going to be blocked or slowed down, then he and his advisors will not hesitate to look for a path to senior team football, even if it means moving abroad. And it is this report from Fabrizio Romano last week which suggests that West Ham have moved to try and secure Ajala's future at West Ham. Romano suggested that Ajala is free to speak to clubs abroad and that this has already happened with interest from clubs in both France and Germany. In his first season at West Ham, Ajala scored 19 goals and became top goal scorer for the under-21s. He also played a major role in the under-21s Premier League Cup, in the under-18s Premier League Cup final, scoring 7 goals in 4 games, which included a brace in the final against Reading. He's pacey, direct, can finish with both feet, he's aggressive, and could well become the next big thing from our academy to follow the likes of Freddie Potts and Ollie Skulls. Of course, there are a number of other academy players trying to break through as well, with the likes of Mohamedou Kante and Ezra Myers now seeming to be more regulars in the senior squad than in the under-21s development squad. Ajala himself was actually named on the bench for the 4th round FA Cup game against Burton last weekend, but was unfortunate not to get his senior debut. But it just shows how highly rated he is for him to leapfrog above the likes of other academy strikers such as Callum Marshall, who's back out on loan, and Josh Landers and Daniel Cummings. If we can secure Ajala, he could possibly be another alternative to our situation with Pablo being out injured. Certainly not from the start, but maybe from the bench. But what about the win for the under-21s on Tuesday night, which led them to the final of the National League Cup? That's going to be played on the 17th or the 18th of March, and it's going to be played against Boreham Wood. Now, I started covering how our under-21s were getting on way back when I was still with the West Ham network. I wanted my Monday night live show, the West Ham Weekly, to encapsulate everything about West Ham. That included the women's team, how our players were getting on loan, as well as our under 18s and our under 21s. It's been fantastic to follow them, and I'm pleased that other channels have now taken on the mantle and are regularly reporting on how our academy is doing. All credit to Gio from Hammers Chat for doing watch alongs of the under 21 games as well. Now, we do have some fantastic talent within the squad, but as we know, not every player is going to make it to senior Premier League football. But our academy and our development players have more chance now than they ever seem to have had at West Ham. Strangely enough, Nuno seems to believe in the development squad and now has 4 players from the academy as regulars in the senior squad. I've mentioned them already: Freddie Potts, Ollie Skiles, Ezra Myers, and Mohamedou Kante. Long may it rain. Now, the game itself started off with aplomb against Tamworth. We scored our first goal, Preston Fearon getting the first goal within the first 4 minutes of kickoff. It was then evenly contested. Tamworth did come storming back in the second half and got themselves level on the 65th minute. But it was from that point on that the drama really unfolded. On the 70th minute, defender Lewis Brown was shown a red card for an off-the-ball incident, which led to him being sent off and Tamworth getting a penalty. But the fantastic, another highly rated development player, the fantastic goalie Finlay Herrick, saved from the penalty spot and inspired West Ham to go on and win, even though we were down to 10 men. What was really inspiring, that was manager, coach Greg Lincoln, resisted the temptation to bring on defender when we were down to 10 men to see the game out. Instead, he made a very brave decision to switch from 2 strikers on the pitch to 3, and that got us the win. Ajala and Josh Landers were joined on the 80th minute by Daniel Cummings. What a brave move that was, but it paid off. In the 3rd minute of added time, Ajala got the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box and fired in an unstoppable strike. And with Tamworth then chasing the game and sending their goalkeeper up for a corner, Ajala stole the ball from a Tamworth player deep inside our own half and ran the length of the pitch to make it 3-1. Superb and well done to the development squad. The final, as I say, will be played against Boreham Wood on the 17th or the 18th of March. So it's fantastic. It really is great to see these young players getting the credit that they deserve, doing so well for West Ham United. Who knows what will happen with some of these development players? To actually have 4 players in the senior squad right now is superb. Josh Landers could well become the 5th development player to make it into the senior squad on a regular basis. But in the meantime, what is really important is that we do get that player to sign the contract so he stays at West Ham for at least the next few years. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you all again pretty soon.